Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at MarketSite, we have Tim McCourt. He's the Global Head of Equity Index Products over at CME Group. And we're here to discuss the Micro E-mini Futures launch. It's great to have you back with me at MarketSite, Tim. Let's learn about this new product. Sounds like it's something for the sophisticated active trader.
That's correct. This morning we launched the Micro E-mini contracts on the S&P 500, Nasdaq 100, Dow Jones, and Russell 2000. A contract that is 1/10 the size of the classic E-mini, targeted for the active individual trader in our markets.
All right, now let's talk about the CME Group and Nasdaq partnering on the Micro E-mini Nasdaq 100, the NDX. Why partner with Nasdaq?
Oh, Nasdaq's been a great partner of CME for more than 2 decades, and at the end of last year we extended our partnership to 2029. This has been one of the great first products we've been able to put out since we've extended that, and Nasdaq 100 continues to be one of the most important global equity index benchmarks, and we're happy to continue to partner with Nasdaq to provide the risk management and active trading tools such as Micro E-mini futures on the Nasdaq.
All right, now today could not have been a better time to launch, considering the news that we saw in the markets over the weekend, particularly around the U.S.-China trade deals. I would imagine volume's pretty good today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great start to the day. I think even just before we started, we just crossed the 72,000 contract market across all 4 Micro E-minis. And I think what's important to note is it's not just major market moving events such as Brexit or the U.S. presidential election that happened outside of traditional U.S. hours. I think this weekend and the tariff news and the China news is another example of how markets are moving 24/7, and futures markets are available. And now with the Micro E-mini futures contract, they're available for the active trader when the market moves and they either want to manage their risk or access the market.
Will this also bring futures trading to the retail investor as well, since it's less capital that's involved versus having to buy the larger portion of the index?
That's correct. When we launched the E-mini futures contracts, a few decades ago, the indices have doubled or tripled or even quadrupled in some cases, and have kind of priced out some of the investors. So at 1/10 the size, the initial capital will be a smaller outlay and more friendly to the active individual trader's account.
And are you seeing that across the board, more investors getting involved in the futures market?
That's right. When we look at 2018, retail traders and active individual traders at CME grew about 28% to about 660,000 contracts per day. And that's not just a U.S. market phenom. We're seeing it from an international perspective, where European active individual traders grew by 30%, and Asian active individual traders last year grew by 36% at CME. So it's a global product for the active individual trader.
All right, we'll catch up on the stats when I see you again in Vegas. Thank you so much
for
joining me at MarketSite. And thank you as always for joining me on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.